If you want to start using video in your business but don't want to mess with fancy equipment, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you how you can create quality video using only your iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, don't worry. There are a lot of tips and tricks in this video that will benefit you no matter what brand phone you have, so keep watching. Like I said at the beginning, in this tutorial, we are going to be talking about how to get quality video using only your iPhone. There are ways to improve your iPhone video with other tools and equipment such as lighting, gimbals, tripods, microphones, and things like that, but those are not what we're going to be talking about today. I am the queen of getting distracted by researching new equipment and gear. And I'm telling you right now that if you spend time doing that, it's further delaying you from actually just recording a video and putting it out there. On top of that, every new piece of gear you get comes with a learning curve, and the time you spend learning how to use it is delaying you even further. So we're going to keep it simple. You have a $1,000 device on you all the time, so you may as well be using it to make you more money. You can always upgrade your video setup further down the road, and I'm sure I'll make a video on ways to do that as well. There are 3 options for recording video on your phone. The first is just your regular video. The second is slow motion. And the third is time-lapse, which is basically just a bunch of photos taken every couple of seconds and then played back together to look like a fast-moving video. These are great if you want to do a quick preview of something that's actually time-consuming. Okay, let's get on with it then. First things first, we need to set the scene, and there are a few things to take into consideration when doing this. Let's talk about location. You need to have good lighting. The easiest and cheapest way to do this is to use an existing light source. My favorite is natural light from a window. You want to make sure that you're facing the window and that the window is not behind you. The same applies if you don't have good natural light to just using a lamp or something of that sort to shine the light towards your face from behind the camera. You want to choose a background that is free of clutter and distractions. You want people focusing on what you're saying in your message rather than being distracted by stuff that's in the background. It doesn't have to be fancy, it just needs to be clean. You also want to choose a location that is quiet. Make sure there's not TV or music playing in the background, as that could lead to copyright issues, and you definitely don't want that. You also want to make sure that there aren't people talking in the background. This will not only improve your audio quality, but it will help you stay more focused when making your video. You also want to pay attention to background noises such as air conditioning units, fans, heaters, refrigerators, things like that. If you can avoid them or turn them off, do it. If you can't, then sometimes you just have to work with what you have and move forward. If a sound shows up that's a surprise, like a siren driving by or somebody decides to start mowing their lawn, you're probably gonna have to pause what you're doing and wait for it to pass, or ask your neighbor if maybe they can mow their lawn later. Sometimes it just comes down to communication. If you get to know your neighbors and let them know you're gonna be filming on a specific day, then maybe they can try not to mow their lawns on that day. Once you've got your location locked down, you're gonna wanna hit that like button and let YouTube know that you think this video is awesome so far. Obviously, you're not gonna wanna hold your phone the entire time, so you're gonna have to find a way to prop it up. You can get a cheap tripod on Amazon for like $20, and they are seriously game changers. But in this video, we aren't using any extra equipment, so I'm gonna show you how to prop your phone up without a tripod. You can use stuff from around the house. Stack it up on a stool, use books, use a water bottle, a shoe, a bottle of wine, whatever works that you can prop your phone up against to keep it stable. If you've ever taken photos or made video without a tripod and had to prop your phone up on something, let me know what you used in the comments below. You're gonna open your camera, flip it to video mode, then flip it to selfie mode, and see how you look. How's the background? Is there clutter showing that you might need to move out of the way? In order to have the best audio possible using only the iPhone internal mic, you're going to want to sit close to the camera. This is typically about an arm's length away. The further away that you get from the camera, the more your audio is going to decrease. If you really want to make sure that you have good audio, you can get an external mic for your iPhone, and I have a video reviewing the best ones here. However, an external mic is not necessary for you to get started. iPhones have pretty decent built-in mics, so you just recording your video and putting it out there is the most important thing. We want to use the rear-facing camera over the front-facing camera for two reasons. Number one being, the rear-facing camera is higher quality. The number two reason is that when the camera is facing you, you can see yourself on the phone, which means you're way more likely to get distracted by looking at yourself instead of looking at the lens. This causes a total disconnect for the viewer. Okay, now that we have everything set up, we're going to go in and adjust the settings on our phone. You're going to want to go to Settings, Camera, and make sure that you're recording video at 1080p HD at 60 frames per second. You can film in 4K, but know that the files are going to be huge. If you're doing slow motion, the more frames per second that you're using, the smoother your video is going to be because it's taking more frames per second. You're also going to want to turn your grid on. And there are two reasons for using this. Number one, it helps make sure that your video is level. Number two, it helps you frame yourself. The rule of thirds is a guideline for visuals such as paintings, photos, videos, and design. The overall concept is that the scene is divided into 9 squares using 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines. And ideally, the part that you want to be the focus of your visual is placed along these lines or intersections. Like so. Do you have to follow this rule? Absolutely not. Are you allowed to put yourself in the very center of your video if that's what you want to do? Absolutely. It's your video and you can choose where you want to sit and how you want it to look. Lastly, we're going to adjust exposure. And this is the amount of light that is being let in by the camera. Tap on the screen and hold down your finger where you want the camera to focus. The AE-AF lock will come up and you can use the little sunshine to make the exposure go down or the exposure go up to let in more light. You want to do this because if the phone is left to decide for itself, your lighting will constantly be changing with your movement if the phone chooses to focus on something else instead of you. On some phones, you can also go up here, tap on this button, and drag your exposure up or down that way. Woohoo! We are finally ready to press record. One of the most simple things that you can do to improve the quality of your video is to clean your lens. The dirt and oils from our skin and other elements gets onto the lens while we're handling our phone, and this decreases the video quality. Clean your lens. Okay, now it's time to press record. You're going to start with a test shot. Record yourself talking and moving like you normally would be in your videos, and then play it back to see how you look. You're checking to make sure that your positioning is good, that your lighting is good, and that your audio sounds good. You are not going to overanalyze the way your voice sounds, the way your hair looks, your outfit, your face, or anything like that. Doing this is the quickest way to never put a video out. And quite frankly, it's pretty selfish. If your audience needs what you have to offer and you're not putting it out there because you're too worried about the way you look or the way your voice sounds, you're letting your ego win. Don't do it. Once all of this is good to go, it's time to record your content. Accept up front right now that you are going to make mistakes and stumble on your words. See, I'm stumbling on my words right now, and I can't remember my line. You're going to stumble on your words. It is part of being human. It happens to all of us. Just keep going. Remember to breathe, and that giving yourself pauses when you lose your train of thought makes things a lot easier when it comes time to edit. You also want to make sure that you pause before looking down and before reaching up to turn off the camera. And for the love of all that is good and holy, make eye contact. Always look at the lens. It drives connection and makes the viewer feel like you're actually talking to them. My last tip of advice is to be prepared. Know what content you want to create ahead of time and have an outline and some kind of bullet points to follow to keep you on track. You also want to know which platforms you're creating for so that you make sure your videos are in the correct orientation. You'll want to record video for stories, IGTV, and Reels with your camera vertically. But if you're doing videos for YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and things like that, you're going to want to record horizontally. Respect the platforms. Black bars on the sides of your video when they are supposed to be horizontal are distracting and ugly. If you're the kind of person who would love to just print something out and physically have it in your hands when it comes time to create video, you're in luck. I've created a free cheat sheet for you and you can find it in the description below. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you get updated every time I put out a new video. In the comments below, let me know if you learned anything new from this video or if you have any additional questions, and I will see you next time.